Hello folks, this is Louis speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. In this video, we're going to be looking at another double up game that I'm playing together here with JDP El Grillo. And the team composition we're going to be looking at here is one that's been very popular in this patch. This is one of the last patches here in set 9 before set 9.5 comes out. That is a team composition that is based around the Bastion trait and then plays Aphelios as its main carry. People who might remember the beginning of the set might remember there was a point in time where people would play Bastion units with Aphelios and spam lockets, making abuse of locket with the Pandora's item reroll that people were running at the beginning of the set. But that is not the case here. It's no longer about abusing locket. It's just playing Bastion units, which are strong in this patch and are set to be nerfed in the upcoming patch. All right, so here we had an initial portal start. I think Grillo and I went for the Noxus portal. Instead, we ended up getting a Freljord portal that's going to give everybody a Radiant item later on in the game. So that's something to keep in mind. I've gotten an Echo here, so that does open up the possibility of playing Piltover, but I would end up not going down that route in this game. I don't think that Piltover is in a particularly strong place in this particular patch, and that is a lost streaking trait, and I've never been someone who's been super comfortable with lost streaking. I have said this before, but I really think that Piltover was not a very well-designed economic trait at all. It's unfortunate after Underground was probably the best designed economic trait of all time back in set 8 that they had such a clunker in terms of Piltover for this set. It just didn't really work out particularly well. Okay, I get a bow and a sword here, and as soon as I see that, I start thinking, you know what, this is probably some kind of AD team composition. And I decided that, you know what, maybe I've already got a Poppy and I have 2 out of 3 Maokais here. I'm seeing some Bastion units. I'm seeing some Deadeye units. This would be a situation where I could look to potentially play into the Aphelios plus Bastion team composition. I don't know if there's a better name for it, but that's just what I've been thinking of. And then I get a Rod here, so I have the components for a Rage Blade, which is Aphelios' most important item. And as soon as I see that, I'm like, oh yeah, I should definitely do that. I also get 2 out of 3 Sorakas, and Soraka is also a unit that you typically would want to play in that team composition as well, because she brings Targon trait and is good at healing the front line. I'm also running Vlad for my little legend, or not little legend, for my legend. It's the proper name for this. So I also have good synergy. Vlad's augments synergize really well. In fact, they synergize so well that Vlad ended up getting nerfed in a B patch that they released in this particular patch, which didn't do a whole lot, but toned down the Vlad transfusion. Anyway, I get a Maokai from Grillo. That allows me to make 2-star Maokai. And I have sent him a Cho'Gath because he is playing Cho. He's actually going to end up playing a Bruisers board here. He's going to play heavily into Bruisers, and he's going to play around Rek'Sai as his carry because he got the augment for the, I can't remember what the official name is, but it's basically the Titan's Resolve that allows it to stack beyond 25 stacks. It lets it go to 35 stacks instead, which is a very good item for Rek'Sai. So he's going to try to play through that unit and play a Bruiser build that features Rek'Sai as the main carry, which is kind of unusual, but I have seen people run it before. And it fits with what he has because he's been seeing a decent number of Bruisers. Okay, so I ended up making a bit of a mistake here. I am playing the Bastion units for frontline. I'm going to use Maokai as my primary tank for now. Hopefully shift to Shen later on in the game. So I'm playing the Maokai and the Poppy. I also have Jhin holding my items for a future Aphelios. That's totally fine. But I had an Ashe in the store, and I ended up selling the Ashe to play Soraka. That was definitely a mistake because I do not have Targon trait in play until I find a Taric, or an Aphelios, but more likely a Taric. Until I actually end up finding a Taric, I don't have Targon trait in play, and so Soraka's not really doing anything. I mean, I guess she heals the front line, but she has none of her traits in play. Invoker trait's not in play, Targon trait's not in play. What I should have done is just sell the Sorakas for Econ. I could find Soraka later after I've looked and found like a Taric or a Aphelios later on in the game. And I should have just played the Ashe instead because Ashe would have given Deadeye trait for the Jhin, and that would have been helpful. Frontline's pretty tanky, but I'm a little lacking in damage here, so it would have been helpful to have that. Now, Soraka has actually healed a pretty fair amount here in this battle, but it's not going to be enough. This person actually has 5 units, and Jhin, why did you not shoot at the Cho? Why? Turned and moved his little third shot away from the Cho'Gath there. But that person had 5 units on their board, so it was a little unlikely I was going to be able to hit that. Now, there is actually a Castellan in this store. There's 2 Maokais, so I was like, oh, I don't think I can afford the Maokais. But then I see there's a Castellan who's a unit I want to play anyway. And I was like, okay, well, we'll do that. Castellan only makes 3 Bastion, not 4 Bastion, so it's not really doing that much. Again, I would happily play Ash here or another Deadeye, but yeah, sold the Ash. Pretty sure that was a mistake, as I said, because I need a little bit more damage here. A 1-star Jin is not going to be enough damage on its own. In scouting the lobby, I also noted that there's someone else who has a Bastion crest. So if somebody pulls a Bastion emblem, if somebody pulls a Bastion emblem, they are almost certainly going to be playing this build as well, which is unfortunate. Also, this person's team has 3 2-star units on it. They have 2-star Aurelia, 2-star Samira, 2-star Cassiopeia. So I was like, okay, if they have 3 2-star units already, and they're playing Noxus, which is an early game trait, pretty sure I'm going to end up losing that one. So yeah, do not end up winning that one. By the way, Grillo's on 20 gold already. I'm on 6 gold. So I was like, yeah, he's managing the early game better than me. Definitely managing it a little bit better than me. Now, I actually do have first pick here, so I can get anything I want. There is the possibility to take a spatula here, but I was like, what can I really do with the spatula? I don't know that I can actually do that much with a spatula. So I end up passing on it. And in retrospect, I wish I had taken the spatula because there are definitely a lot of options to get spatulas in double up mode. If there's an early spatula you can grab, it's usually worthwhile to take. It also would have been Soraka 2-star, which actually would have been pretty decent for my board. So yeah, in retrospect, I wish I had grabbed that spatula. I think that would have been nice. But I do take a tank item, and that's not terrible. Tank items are actually quite good for this team composition because I already have items for a future Aphelios. Now I need to build up the front line, and I was able to take a Kassadin, so I have 2 out of 3 Kassadins as well. So that definitely helps me there as well. Biggest issue, though, is damage. I'm still lacking in the damage pretty badly here. And now I have to consider, do I want to level to level, do I want to go to level 5 or not? I do end up going to level 5 here. I sold the extra Maokais on my bench just for econ. Probably should have not purchased them last round, although it didn't cost me gold to hold them last round. So I'm really hoping I can win this round and get to 10 gold. And I'm up against someone who's playing Piltover, so it looks like I should be able to win this round. This person's board is just basically nonsense. They're not really playing much of anything. They just have Piltover trait in, and their goal is the loss streak here. So hopefully I can give them the loss that they want because I would like a win here. Yeah, that's going to be pretty doable here and can at least do as much damage as possible. They are on 20 gold, though, to my 10 gold, so they're probably feeling pretty decent. And then, yeah, nothing here in the shop that I particularly want. Note that after selling that Ash, I did not see a single Deadeye the entire rest of Stage 2, so that's a little bit bad. I also have quite a few pairs here. I have a Jin pair, I have a Soraka pair, I have a Kassadin pair, and I have a Poppy pair. So I have 4 pairs. I have 5 units and 4 pairs on my bench. So that would mean it might be worthwhile to roll a little bit on level 6 if I do not hit any of these other units. There is a Kassadin on Grillo's board, so he is potentially going to send that to me. It wouldn't be amazing or anything, but it would at least give me another potential 2-star unit. And then I'm up against this person who's one of the win-streaking players. So I'm very confident I don't beat this person. The only way I'm winning this round is if Grillo would happen to come over and help me win this one. But oh, wow, that's pretty fast reinforcing. That's a lot of units on my board pretty fast. Don't think that I'm going to be able to win this one. Not with that many units coming over that quickly. So yeah, just never really had a chance in that one. Not whoever, one of the boards, somebody out there is just like basically open fording and not even trying to play. Now here's something good. There is an action here in the shop, so I can look to pick that up and look to play that. I could play that over the Soraka right now, and that's probably better. I think I do recognize that. By the way, there's also a Shen on the board for Grillo. He's going to send the Kassadin to make Kassadin 2-star, and he's going to look to hold the Shen for me. Now, he can't send the Shen over to me. Shen's a very important unit because he's one of the most expensive Bastion units. He's the 4-cost Bastion. He can't send until the beginning of Stage 4 because the early game sends can only be used on 1, 2, and 3-cost units. But Grillo ends up just playing the Shen on his board, which is kind of interesting. Even though he's playing Bruisers, he's going to be able to run the Shen on his board and just get some value out of it while holding it until he can send over to me at the beginning of the next stage. All right, so still hanging out here. I'm going to get a tier and a belt, so that's not too bad. And then I hit 2-star Jin. I was considering transferring these items over to the what's his name? The action that I just picked up. I don't know why sometimes it's hard to think of these characters' names, but since Jin is 2-star, I think it's better to keep these on a 2-star Jin as opposed to a 1-star action. I think that makes a little bit more sense. So my board has definitely gotten stronger. 2-star Jin, 2-star Kassadin. I now have Deadeye trait in instead of the Soraka that wasn't really doing anything. And yeah, and I was also able to make a useful item. I've gone ahead and made Redemption here. Probably the best way I can use the tier. Aphelios really can't use tiers. Like, there's not really any item. I guess he could make Hand of Justice, but that's not much of an item. This is a board that deals physical damage, so like a static Shiv is not really going to do anything, not really going to be helpful. So tiers I don't really have much use for in this particular team composition. And the Redemption's actually giving me pretty good value here. If you're noticing this, it's triggering pretty frequently on the Maokai, healing him, and then also healing the Kassadin. So yeah, I'm going to be able to win this round, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Again, I wish my econ was a little bit better. But I'm going to win that round, and it looks like Grillo had that round won anyway, but will not hurt for me to come over. We actually ended the win streak of one of the two players that was on the big win streak. All right, second augment's Prismatic, so it was like, I don't really like any of these options. I'm pretty sure it's not Lucky Gloves. I mean, that's okay, but that's not amazing. Impenetrable Bulwark sounds good, but it's not really that amazing. Ancient Archives, but oh, Bastion. Bastion Crest, yes. Yes, this is what I'm looking for here. So this is going to allow me to play 6 Bastion pretty easily here. I also find a Taric, so that's great. I'll go ahead and replace Poppy, and then we can put Soraka in and get Targon. So this is more of what we're looking for here. 4 Bastion, 2 Targon, 2 Deadeye. I put the Bastion emblem on Jin. He can just hold it for right now. I don't want to use up a slot. I also could have put it on Soraka. She would have been okay to hold this as well. Later on in this game, I'll find another person to put this on. But the main thing is just to get the 4 Bastion in right now. As for Grillo, he took the Tome of Traits and the double Tome of Traits that you get for Prismatic, and he pulled it twice, and he hit 2 Bruiser emblems. So this is going to make it incredibly easy for him to play 6 Bruisers in this game. Double Bruiser emblems, and he's turned Shen into a Bruiser, which is pretty funny. So he can get value out of that Shen on his board. Basically just play Shen as a 4-cost Bruiser, which is honestly pretty hilarious. And get great value out of that unit. So his path is pretty clear. 6 Bruisers into Rek'Sai. We're going to try to 3-star Rek'Sai. And then in the late game, he can just add more legendary units or run someone like Kaisa is often run as a secondary carry, or maybe Belveth if you can get that far into the game. Bruiser Belveth is pretty amazing if you can get some good items on her. Unfortunately, we've only found the 2 Rek'Sais so far. I haven't found any of them, but the itemization is pretty good here. Titan's Resolve, and that's the Super Titan's Resolve that can stack 35 times. Bloodthirster, and then the last item you really want for Rek'Sai is Infinity Edge. It's important that her damage be able to crit if you're going to run her as your main carry. There was actually a bug in this set for quite a while whereby her ultimate actually could not crit even if you gave her Infinity Edge, but that bug has been fixed here towards the end of the set, and Infinity Edge is one of her most important items. So her best in slot is probably Titan's Resolve to make her tanky, Bloodthirster so she can heal off her ult, and then Infinity Edge so that the ult can crit. All right, I am up against a Noxus board. This person has a 3-star Samira. That's a somewhat outdated build where there was one patch where people were running 3-star Samira with a blue buff, and it was a very popular build, but no longer the case. Now, that said, the 3-star Samira, it does look like it's stronger than what I have right here, especially with Noxus, which is a bit of an early game trait. Does fall off a bit as the game goes on. So I'm not going to be able to defeat that board, but my board definitely got stronger. It was pretty weak throughout stage 2. I think it's a lot more respectable right now. And the big thing is I'm just trying to save up econ and hope that I can roll and hit Aphelios on level 7, because Aphelios is kind of what makes this team come together. All right, so we have another round here. And by the way, look what there is. Yeah, there's another spatula here. I was like, if I had just taken that previous spatula, maybe I could have gone. Well, I guess I couldn't have gotten that because someone else grabbed it, but would have been really nice to get that. Instead, I'm going to take another frontline item. I'm going to go ahead and take a belt because that's going to allow me to make Warmogs. And then Grillo is going to have a pick. He was like, surely Sejuani is not going to be the last pick. Remember, he's building a bruiser board here. He's like, surely I'm not going to get Sejuani for my very last pick here. But nope, Sejuani sticks around. This is the 4-cost bruiser. He can happily slot that onto his board, and he even got a glove that's going to allow him to make Infinity Edge on the Rek'Sai, which we said was the most important remaining item for her. Anyway, I had the chance to get a gift because it is stage 3-5. Grillo will get a gift on the next round, and I opt to take the training dummies because I am playing a Bastion Cup, which is all about stacking frontline. This is also the reason why I have chosen to make the Warmogs. Warmogs is a really good item on a Bastion team. Not nearly as good of an item on a Bruiser team because all it does is give more health. But Bastion units gain armor and magic resistance, so it's inherently good for them to get more health. Whereas for bruisers, they get more health, they want more armor and magic resistance to make them tanky. If you're curious about the official description of Bastion, I'll read it here. Bastion champions gain armor and magic resistance. This is increased by 100% for the first 10 seconds of combat. So again, armor and MR. Currently, 4 Bastion is 55 defense, so 55 armor, 55 MR, doubling to 110 for the first 10 seconds of combat. 6 Bastion's a big spike, it doubles to 100, so that would be 200 armor, 200 MR for 10 seconds, then down to 100. 8 Bastion is actually 240, which would then double to almost 500, but nobody plays 8 Bastion. The reason for that is it requires double Bastion emblems, which is almost impossible to get. And in order to play that, you'd have to run both of the 1-cost bruisers, Poppy and Maokai. You really don't want to run those units late in the game. It's generally not a good idea to tie up that many slots on Bastion units. But I suppose if you did hit like triple Bastion emblems, then it would be worthwhile. I also had the chance to get a spatula from the gift round. I took the training dummies, but I could have had a spatula. So that also could have been a tactician's crown if I had taken that initial spatula that I had a shot at earlier. Yeah, I mean, I think that the frontline itemization I've made is pretty good here, but I pretty easily could have had tactician's crown without too much trouble. So if you get the option to take an early spatula in double up mode, there's tends to be a lot of opportunities to get more spatulas between the gift rounds and just yeah, all the different carousels. You have decent odds to get them and be able to make a tactician's crown. It's often worthwhile to grab that. Anyway, we're still trying to make a 2-star Rek'Sai. We are still trying to find one more. Haven't found it yet. As I said, I'm going to plan to roll a little bit on 7. I will be able to go up to 6 Bastion on level 7 if I want to. I'll have to take out the Soraka, but I could put in the Poppy and then put in the Shen that Grillo's going to gift over to me. The one that he's been playing is Bruiser Shen, but he's planning to send over to me. So that'll be 6 Bastion, which will be a very tanky front line. And then ideally, I just find one Aphelios and slot Aphelios in and just move these items over. And I could put the Bastion emblem on, like, I guess the action could just hold it for the time being and probably transfer to someone else long term. If you can put it on a unit like Urgot, it's actually pretty good on Urgot because he's a melee unit. He benefits pretty well from having like 200 armor and MR for the beginning of combat. And he's a Deadeye, so he pairs well with Aphelios. So anyway, that stage went much better. I did win 4 out of the 5 rounds. Grillo is on a big win streak. He's win streaking with 1-star Rek'Sai, which is pretty funny. But and he's got the 2-star Bruiser Vel'Koz over there, which is pretty hilarious. He's getting ready to send the Shen over to me, and then the Bruiser emblem will pop off. But 6 Bruiser is just really strong in the mid game. All that health is very hard for teams to cut through. Now it does fall off in the end game, so it's important that we try to 3-star the Rek'Sai. It will fall off as the game goes on. By the way, look at this. I get a Nasus and a Jarvan. I was like, what? I can't do anything with these units. Why? Why do I get these units? Ugh. Why couldn't this have been an Aphelios instead? That would have been so much better. But I checked with Grillo. Again, neither of us could really do anything with that. There's the Shen coming over, so we'll put the Shen in and the Poppy in. There's our 6 Bastion. Now, I just want to roll to see if I can hit one Aphelios. If I could just hit one, I'd be very satisfied here. So again, I'm going to roll a little gold. There's another action. So that's something. There's Jhin. There's more Gwens. I'm seeing a fair number of 4-costs. There's Yasuo. Can I find one Aphelios? There's a Sejuani. I'll hold that for Grillo. I think I can't remember if I end up sending this to him or not. I believe I do end up sending this. But I've rolled down to 18 gold here and not actually hit, which is unfortunate. So I was able to go ahead and make a Deathblade, which is a good item on Aphelios, one of his better items. And I wouldn't have minded transferring some of these items over to the action. But again, I still think that having them on a 2-star Jhin is better than having them on a 1-star action. I still have not found an Urgot, still have not found an Aphelios, which is unfortunate. Those are probably the 2 units I was most looking for, along with more Shens, and I haven't found them. So the 4-costs I've been seeing are not the ones that I'm playing, but it does look like I end up winning this round, even though I hit 2 boards here and got reinforced on. Still going to end up winning that anyway, and that's again because 6 Bastion is just a big spike. All right, for our last option, it's not even a choice. It's going to be the Ascension. And then wait a second. I was going to send a Sejuani over there, but I've got a Rek'Sai. I was like, Grillo, do you want the Rek'Sai instead? And he was like, yes, that's 2-star Rek'Sai. So I will hold the Sejuani for right now, although it's going to take a while for that send to cool down again. But it was more important to make the 2-star Rek'Sai, even though that is not as expensive of a unit. All right, so right now I've got all my tank items on the Maokai. But I'm going to go ahead and make the Gargoyle Stoneplate, put this on Shen. The plan long term is if I can find 2-star Shen, I will go ahead and sell the Maokai. I will put the Redemption on Taric and then put the Sunfire Cape plus the Warmogs on Shen. So Shen would then have Warmogs, Sunfire, Gargoyles, and then Redemption will be on secondary tank Taric. Redemption's good to have on like your secondary tank because it will heal the main tank without actually being on them. And yeah, like I said, I think that that's the better setup here. Now, this is the person who's playing the same general setup as me. This is the person who's also pulled a Bastion. They got a Bastion emblem from their Tomb of Traits. So they are also trying to play the same build. They have also not found Aphelios yet. So there's no Aphelios out of the pool. Both of us have rolled. This person rolled down to 0 gold and apparently didn't find any Aphelioses, nor did their partner find them either. They've actually made triple Rage Blades, which is kind of funny, and put them on action. And I actually think that that's too many Rage Blades. Aphelios does use Rage Blade really well, and it's not a bad thing sometimes to put like 2 Rage Blades on him, but I think 3 Rage Blades is just excessive. He's just going to slam into the attack speed cap really early and just not have enough damage. By the way, here's a Zeri, so it's like, man, so many of these 4-cost units. I think I've seen every 4-cost except Urgot and Aphelios, so it's pretty unfortunate. There is a Rek'Sai here, so I asked Grillo, should I hold the Sejuani or should I hold the Rek'Sais? And he said, definitely hold the Rek'Sais. He has also found an Aphelios for me, but of course, he just sent me the Shen, and the Shen was 100% worthwhile to use the send on, because that allowed me to play 6 Bastion. So that was definitely worthwhile. But we do have to wait now until the end of the stage until he can send me another unit, which is a bit unfortunate. So still stuck playing through this Jhin. As I said, if I could find a 2-star action, I would look to try to transfer the items over there. But I haven't found that. I haven't really seen Deadeyes. I guess there's like an Ash in the store here, but just have not really been seeing these units, unfortunately. Seen a lot more Gunners in this game instead. All right, so I did go ahead and take Ascension, which again is really key for this board because this is a stall comp. Relies on having really strong front line and then just stalling until Ascension kicks in, and then Aphelios can start killing everything. But my board has fallen off here. And by the way, look, there's another spatula here. I was like, oh my god, another spatula? Are you kidding me? Could have another spatula. Note that there's no no Aphelios on this carousel here. So yeah, once again, I could have had the option to take a Tactician's Crown, but I don't end up getting it. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Heimer here, and I think that I take the Heimer, and with the plan of just playing Heimer on my board. One of the things that this board lacks is much in the way of damage. As I said, it's a very tanky board, but it doesn't have that much in the way of damage. So what I can do is I can just play Heimer on my board here for a little bit of extra damage and keep him around into the late game. So anyway, I'm going to get this. Oh, here is where we get to upgrade one of our items into a Radiant item. When we got this stage, I went ahead and looked up the different Radiant items, and it turns out that the Sunfire Cape is one of the strongest Radiant items. The Radiant items are actually not balanced particularly well. Some of them are much better than others, and Sunfire Cape in particular is one of the strongest ones. It actually is getting nerfed in the patch that's coming up. Not normal Sunfire Cape, Radiant Sunfire Cape. They're going to lower the health that it gives by a small amount, but it grades out as one of the strongest of the Radiant items. So that's why I was happy to upgrade the Sunfire there. And of course, it just makes my frontline tankier as well. Now, this person already has 8 Void In. You can see they have... Oh, wait, no, they don't have 8 Void In. It's just the Rift Herald. I thought they had Baron Nashor for a second, but they don't. Here is a fight where the front line holds up. If the front line holds up, then my board just kind of kills everything pretty effortlessly. And Action manages to get the shot through to wipe out that Kai'Sa in the back lines. Now, is it enough to win this round because we got reinforced on? The answer is no, but that clearly was a round I would have won if it hadn't been for that other board coming over. And then Grillo very narrowly loses a round as well. There's a team on 22 HP that's been win streaking. Here, I'm going to go ahead and, I make the 2-star action. So that's going to definitely help, can hold items while I'm still searching for Aphelios over here. Still waiting for Grillo to be able to send that over to me. And I haven't found another Rek'Sai, so that's 2 out of 3 Rek'Sais. So yeah, I was like, do I sell the Jin? I don't really want Jin being my primary carry. So ultimately, I was like, all right, let's go ahead and do this. I'll put the AD items on the action, and then I'll have Heimer just hold the Bastion emblem. This does lose Deadeye trait, but Deadeye trait wasn't really doing that much for me right there. And so now we'll look to just get the Heimer upgrades. And I can look to try to put some items on Heimer as well. Now, Heimer with no turret upgrades is not particularly impressive. And this round is not going to go too well. I definitely need another round to finish configuring my board. I want to get up to level 8, see if I can find Aphelios again. I have not had good luck at finding Aphelios in this game. So my board had a really rough stage 4, and that's because I rolled quite a bit of gold, rolled about 40 gold, and did not find Aphelios, unfortunately. Also didn't find Shen. And did we win that round or lose that round? Oh, Aatrox is up. Aatrox, you got this? And turns out that Aatrox does not have this. Which is good because Aatrox was on the other board. That was Grillo with the Kaisa there. Anyway, yeah, probably commentated that one backwards from our perspective. All right, we've got so time to get the Heimer upgrade. You can see Grillo already has Heimer as well. Heimer's such a good unit, you can pretty much just play him on any board. So I'm running Bastion Heimer, and he is running uh, he's running Bruiser Heimer back there. So we're just both playing into our vertical traits and slapping a Heimer on our board. So I'm going to get the Heimer upgrades. I've got the Shrink module, which is the one that, what is that? That's the one that shreds armor and MR. That's actually pretty important because I don't have an armor shred on my team right now. And then I'm going to look to get the burn one as well, if I can. All right, so we got a component ammo. I don't want the Goldinator. I'll pass that. Going to level 8. Oh, that's pricey to do. But there is the burn effect, burn and wound. And then there's an Urgot, so I'll definitely look to play that. I can put that on my board. So we'll do. Wait, did I end up selling the Urgot? Oh wow, I thought that I ended up playing that. I put in the Soraka instead. I thought I ended up playing the Urgot here. Probably should have looked to do that. All right. Anyway, so out of these items here, I really don't have a whole lot that's particularly great. I'm going to go ahead and make Guard Breaker for the future Aphelios. And then out of these items, I was like, well, Heimer, I guess you can have an Archangel Staff. And then I've just got this leftover vest that I'll stuff on Tarek because remember, Shen's going to get Maokai's items down the road. So just got a leftover component that's not going to do a whole lot here. So we're still just basically waiting for Aphelios. Aphelios is the unit that we're trying to find for our board here. But he's still not here, unfortunately. Grillo does have one that he's going to be able to send now. He's actually on 2 out of 3 Aphelioses. So the question was, does he hold to try to send me a 2-star Aphelios, or does he just send me the 1-star version? By the way, Grillo's also found a whatchamacallit, a Belveth for his board, which is going to be super nice. And then there's a Senna here, but again, that doesn't really help me that much. I'm not playing a Gunner's board. So Grillo has the chance to send me something here. He once again had a chance to send me a Spatula. I think he had the chance to send Spatula and Tome of Traits, but instead I take the Champion Duplicator, and we were like, oh, you know what we can do? We can Champion Duplicate the Rek'Sai, and then that's 3-star Rek'Sai for Grillo as soon as we get the send back. So that doesn't actually upgrade my board, but it's definitely going to upgrade his board a lot. And that was, I think, pretty worthwhile to do because he's on 6 Rek'Sais. And yeah, now if he can get the same thing on his part, and by the way, he did end up getting a Spatula somewhere along the way. If he did end up getting a Champion Duplicator, he could duplicate the Aphelios and send it over to me. So if we get the same option on the next round, we'll be able to get me a 2-star Aphelios, which would be great. But in the meantime, we're going to be able to have 3-star Rek'Sai as soon as the Champion Send cools down, which I believe is only 1 or 2 more rounds away. All right, so this round's up against the person who is playing the same board as me. This person actually has found 2-star Aphelios. They've had a little bit more luck than I have. So it looks like I'm going to lose this round, but you got me, Action? Yep. Action just snipes the Aphelios in the back line, and this team has literally no damage whatsoever without that. That is kind of the weakness of this setup is it plays very heavily through Aphelios, and if he dies, don't really have much in the way of damage. So that was a round I didn't really have any business winning, but Action took out the carry, and that was enough for me to get the job done. All right, sadly, we do not have a Champion Duplicator here, so it's 3 components, Item Anvil, Thief's Glove, or the 7 gold. In the meantime, I will, let's see, we'll go ahead and take the components, and then I'm going to go ahead and send the Rek'Sai over there. And I believe I'm going to get the Aphelios either this round or next round. Now that Grillo has gotten the 3-star Rek'Sai, he can go ahead. Yeah, here we go. So I was like, all right, do I play this over the I was like, I think I play this over the Soraka. Targon is nice, but I think I will play this here for right now. Now, if I had the Tactician's Crown that I could have opted into, I could have had played the Soraka as well, which would be really nice because that would give me 3 Targon for the extra shielding and healing. 2 Targon is 20% extra. 3 Targon is 40%. 4 is 70%, but you need an emblem for that. So yeah, it would be super nice if I could play one more unit here, or just play like another random legendary unit instead. That would also be nice. So action is still holding the items right now. Probably better on a 2-star action than on a 1-star Aphelios, even though Aphelios is a better unit. Action's been nerfed a number of times over the course of these patches. He was very strong for a while, and then they nerfed him. That said, I'm up against a 3-star Darius, and yeah, don't actually win against that board. But you know what is strong? This 3-star Rek'Sai is doing work over there on Grillo's board. Yeah, look at her jumping around, eating people. So that's going to knock that team down to 1 HP. And another team's already out of the lobby. So we're looking them to be in pretty good shape here. I also get first pick on this carousel, and look what's here. There's a Cassante with a Zephyr. So that's really nice. Could also opt to take the Shen for 2 out of 3 Shens, but I think I got to grab the Cassante. That will allow me to remove Poppy, and it also gets me a really useful late game item in the Zephyr. Late game Zephyrs are great. I mentioned that they're going to take this item away in the next set, which I'm kind of sad about. I understand it's part of a broader item rework, but I mean, I love the late game Zephyrs. Always liked having this, so I'm going to be sad to see that go away. All right, Poppy, you're out. I suppose there's a very slim chance we could play 8 Bastion, but that seems unlikely that we're going to find a Bastion emblem at this point, so I'm going to put this on casting because we can just move casting around wherever. And yeah, Grillo also has a Zephyr on his board too, his 6 Bruiser board there. His board is super tanky, so I know who I'm going to be up against. I'm 100% up against this Zeri player. I was like, all right, well, let's just Zephyr out this Zeri because why not? Are you paying attention? This is like the Zephyr test. Are you watching the board? The answer is no. They are not paying attention. They're not watching the board. By the way, this team actually has 7 Zeris and a champion duplicator. So we really want to get this team out of the lobby before they hit 3-star Zeri. They're just 1 Zeri away from making 3-star Zeri, which would be pretty terrifying if they're able to hit it. So I'm very glad I was able to get that Zephyr off, and action snipes the Zeri in the back lines again. So if we win this round, this team's out of the lobby. And in fact, they are out of the lobby because Grillo beat their partner already and was able to eliminate them. And then he's going to come over and help me win this round. So they're going to go out of the lobby. No 3-star Zeri for them. And so we've at least secured a 2nd place finish here in this lobby. All right, so now that we have removed them, the good news is that person who was playing Aphelios is out of the lobby. I'll also pick up this Urgot. And by the way, okay, there's 2-star Urgot. So at this point, I was like, all right, I'm going to move out of the action. I'm going to go ahead and place these items on Aphelios because these are Aphelios items. They're not Urgot items. I really hope I can get an item remover because I would love to move that Bastion emblem from Heimerdinger over to Urgot. It would be much better on Urgot, who likes to run up into melee range, but I don't want to sell Heimer. Heimer's a great unit. I also did manage to get a really good Zephyr here. I got the Zephyr right on this person's Kaisa. This person's playing an 8 Void board. They have the Baron Nashor in play. So I was able to Zephyr out the Kaisa. Is that going to be enough to allow me to win this? By the way, this person's also playing Heimer. I have Bastion Heimer. This person has Void Heimer. And Grillo has Bruiser Heimer. It's funny. We're all just playing Heimer because he's a great unit to have. And the answer is no. It's not actually going to be enough for me to win the round, unfortunately. So we actually take a double loss there, which is not especially great, and drop down to 16 HP. So hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit stronger. I picked up Taric there, and then I was like, no, I'm not going to play 3-star Taric. That's not going to happen. Unfortunately, Cassante is not having much luck at knocking people out. He has no items, and he's only a 1-star unit. So he's not that strong. Even though he gets 6 Bastion, armor, and magic resistance, he's not that strong of a unit. So what are we looking for right now? We're trying to hit the 2-star Aphelios for me, and we're trying to see if we can get more Belveths for Grillo. He has a Bruiser Belveth that's going to be a very strong unit if by some chance he can 2-star it. But he only has 1 copy right now, so we're looking for more of that. There's another Aphelios, so that's pretty big. At this point, I sell the Soraka because I don't think I'm ever getting it on my board. There's a Shen. Shen 2-star would be really nice. There's a Belveth, so I'll pick that up for Grillo's board. There's 2-star Shen, so now it's time to move the items over. Good thing I held on to that extra Maokai. That is why I did that. So we'll slot those items in. Redemption goes over to secondary tank in the form of Taric. And now I'm just going to roll down. There's an R8, but that's not useful for this board. There's a Scion. So that's a potential. Now I have the option to take another item. I was like, okay, I'll just put an Infinity Edge on Urgot. I suppose that's the best I can do there, just to get him another item. And then I did not have time to reposition my Shroud of Stillness for this round, unfortunately. So Grillo has I have the Noxus board, and then Grillo has the board that I hit last round, which I'm trying to remember what that other person is playing. Well, I'll see it when they cycle around back to us again. So these fights against the Noxus board are pretty noteworthy. It's largely about, can Darius get all his resets off or not. Darius has the Radiant version of Edge of Night, which is another one of the very strong Radiant items. But Grillo has the Radiant version of Giant Slayer, which is also one of the best ones. And he has that on his Belvath. So, there we go. I finally have Aphelios 2-star. It took until 6-2 to get this board to come together. But I finally have 2-star Shen, 2-star Aphelios. Got the Urgot in there for a little extra damage, and the Heimer in there for also some damage and some crowd control. Oh, the other board's 8 Void. The other board is 8 Void. Now, Grillo's board is definitely stronger than mine, so I'm kind of hoping to stall some rounds until he can come in and support me. I was looking at the different options here, and I was like, you know what? I think the best target to Zephyr is the Baron, so I'm going to go ahead and try to Zephyr the Baron. Now, I remember at the beginning of the set, Baron was immune to crowd control, so you could not Zephyr the Baron, and I thought that they changed that, but apparently not. Apparently you can't Zephyr the Baron. It ended up hitting the unit next to the Baron instead. So it looks like the Zephyr just moved over to the other unit to the side instead of hitting it. All right, my Ascension is kicked in. With Ascension, do we have enough left over to win this round? We have just about barely got through the Baron. Aphelios is doing work, and Aphelios is going to win this round. Yeah, close round, but I am going to win this one. And Grillo won the other round too, so now we actually have the health lead, which is very important in these late game scenarios. All right, so I'm still waiting for the item send to cool down so I can try to get this Belvath over to Grillo. I believe he's found another Belvath on his part too. So now I'm up against the Noxus player, and the question is really, can I get my Zephyr on the Darius? If I can Zephyr Darius out of the fight, I 100% will win. The question is just, will I be able to do that or not? Because if Darius is out of the fight to start and he's just up in the air spinning, if he doesn't get a chance to start getting off his resets, then it's not going to be too tough. But oh, look at that. He moved Darius. Moved at the last second to one off the edge. So I actually do not end up hitting the Darius. And this person ended up, because they did have Darius all the way on the right-hand side, but then they shifted at the last second. So that was smart, definitely the right thing to do. But they repositioned at the last second to dodge the Zephyr. So without that in place, I don't think I have quite enough. Darius is getting off on some really nice resets. Can Aphelios manage to kill this unit? Well, he actually would, but then the Edge of Night kicks in and he shifts focus. So we kill every single unit other than Darius. But Edge of Night too strong. Radiant version of Edge of Night too strong. And it's going to allow them to win that one. All right, so on this carousel, they get first pick. Let's see what they end up taking here. I would like the Cassante again. It even has a decent item for Heimerdinger and the Archangel Staff. Are they going to take it? Nope, ends up taking a blue buff instead. Grillo is going to go ahead and take the Aatrox with the Quicksilver Sash. And I believe that the Champion Send is going to cool down here, and I'm going to have the chance to get this back. Yeah, so I'm going to be able to send the Belvath over to him. And then I have 2 out of 3 Cassante, so if Grillo can find a Cassante, that would be the 2-star there. I'm obviously not going to get to level 9 in this game, so I'm just rolling and seeing if I can hit any of these. There is a Senna, but doesn't look like... There we go. He was able to send me a Cassante, so I've got Cassante 2-star. Unfortunately, no items on him. And then I'll go ahead and lock for the Heimer. It's unlikely I'm going to hit 2-star Heimer, considering how many Heimers are out of the pool. This Void player has a 2-star Heimerdinger, and I'm going to try to position here at the last second, but they swapped Kaisa over to the other corner. It was basically like a 50-50 guess on which corner the Kaisa was going to be in, and I guessed incorrectly this time. So I think I did get the Heimer, which is not bad, so it's still a pretty decent Zephyr, but Kaisa is the unit I wanted because she's the one who scales up over time. Not getting the Kaisa is actually going to end up flipping this fight. If you remember, I actually won this round the last time, but with Kaisa not being Zephyred out of the fight, that Baron gets off one last CC. Oh, this fight's really close. Oh, there we go. I actually thought I lost this round, but no. Aphelios clutched it out at the last second. I was misremembering it. Had that happen the last game I cast too. Yeah, I thought that I lost that round, but then the Baron actually got off when the Baron got off that knockup. But wow, Aphelios just barely clutched that off at the last second. All right, here's the bad news. They just hit Kaisa 3-star. So we was like, oh, Well, they're on 1 HP, so all we have to do is beat either of the other players, but that's 3-star Kaisa, so it's actually really important for me. I need to win this round and knock out the Noxus player because I can't expect Grillo to beat the 3-star Kaisa. Like, come on, he's not going to beat 3-star Kaisa with his board. So I just need to hit the Zephyr and the Darius. I thought that they would move the Darius because last time the Darius was one off the corner, I thought they would move to a different tile, but no, they actually put on the same tile. So they actually were predictable there. I actually gave them too much credit. I thought they'd be unpredictable, but they ended up being predictable. So once again, I was not able to get the Darius. And then wait, what? Wait, what? Grillo is over on my board? Wait, what? His 2-star Belveth came over to my board. I mean, that means the fight's over. I mean, yes, we're gonna lose this round. Darius is gonna get more resets, but that's it. The game's over because Grillo was able to win. But wait, how did he win against 3-star Kaisa? Well, the good news is Grillo was recording this and he saved the footage. So let's cut over to Grillo's point of view so we can see what happened in this fight. Now, the key unit to watch in this fight is the Belveth. The Belveth is kind of stuck on the tank line here. It's hitting the Baron at the start of the fight, but just keep your eye on that Belveth. So got through the Baron, goes into the corner, kills the Heimer, goes super duper low, but manages to get that, consume that thing, and then heal, and then, oh, is that close? The Kaisa's just barely dashing away, but the Belveth managed to hit Kaisa while she was in mid-animation and finish her off to get the win the round and win the lobby, because I don't think we would have won that. We did have one more round after that, but I don't think we would have won that one. So, wow, what a close fight. Anyway, a really entertaining lobby here. I'm glad I could show off the Bastion Aphelios team competition, and kudos to Grillo for building that really creative Belveth plus Rek'Sai board. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, take care, folks.